Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book from way back in 1910 that makes this, well, pretty wild claim that getting rich isn't about luck or talent. Nope, it's an exact science.
So right out of the gate, this is the book's opening line. And what a line. Wallace D. Wattles is basically saying, forget what you know about investing. He's arguing that getting wealthy follows unbreakable laws, just like algebra. And that one idea, that right there, is a total game changer for how you might think about money.
So, you're probably wondering, what's the secret? Well, the whole thing is built on this one core idea, a phrase he repeats over and over again. He calls it the certain way. And his logic is pretty interesting. He says, look, if it was all about your environment, then everyone in a rich neighborhood would be rich, right? If it was just talent, every talented person would be rolling in it. He says the only thing that links all rich people is that they do things in this certain way, whether they realize it or not.
Okay, so what is this certain way all about? Well, this is where it gets a little cosmic. It all starts with a pretty huge theory about what the universe is actually made of.
Wattles basically imagines that everything, from the chair you're sitting on to the stars in the sky, it all comes from one single intelligent kind of goo. He calls it formless substance or thinking stuff. Think of it like a universal clay that fills every nook and cranny of space, just waiting to be shaped.
And that brings us to his formula for creation. It's actually a pretty simple three-step recipe. First, you have to get a really clear thought of what you want. Second, you mentally press that thought onto this universal thinking stuff. And then third, the substance itself, which he says has this natural urge to create, just makes the thing you were thinking about.
Right, so I know what you're thinking. How on earth do you impress a thought on the universe? Well, it all starts in your head. And this isn't just, wishing for something. It's about training your mind to work in a very specific, disciplined way.
To pull this off, Wattles gives you a mental toolkit with 3 essential items. This is the core of his thinking in a certain way. It's all about vision, faith, and gratitude.
First up is vision. And he's really clear on this. Just wanting more money is way too vague. It won't work. You need a super sharp, detailed picture in your head. Like, don't just want a new car. See the make, the model, the color, feel the steering wheel. The more detailed your mental blueprint, the better.
Okay, number 2 is faith. And this is a big one. He's not talking about just hoping it happens. He means you have to mentally own it right now, with total certainty, even before there's any physical proof. It's this unshakable belief that it's already a done deal and it's on its way.
And finally, the third tool is gratitude. This is the secret sauce. Gratitude is like the cable that connects your mind to that creative energy. By being genuinely thankful for what you already have and for the thing you're about to get, you stay plugged into that positive, creative frequency. It keeps you out of doubt and scarcity thinking.
Now hold on. This is really important. The mental stuff is only half of it. The book makes it super clear. This is not about just sitting around visualizing a pile of cash. You absolutely have to combine that mindset with a very specific kind of action out in the real world.
And here's how he explains it. Your thoughts are like a magnet. They start pulling opportunities your way, but you still have to reach out and grab them. That's what action is for. Thought brings it to you. Action lets you receive it.
So, what kind of action? The rules are actually pretty straightforward. First, act now. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Use what you have where you are. Second, do everything you can do today, every single day. No slacking. And third, do every single action perfectly, efficiently. Even the small stuff. Treat every task like it's the most important job in the world.
And this all ties into a core principle for your actions. In every single thing you do, you have to give people more in what he calls use value than you take from them in cash value. Basically, whatever you sell or do for someone has to be worth way more to them than what they paid for it. This makes you a creator of value, not just a competitor fighting for scraps.
So, when you put it all together, this unique way of thinking, plus this specific way of acting, Wattles says something really interesting happens. It's not just that you get rich, you actually become a different kind of person.
And this chart really gets to the heart of the whole book. You've got 2 mindsets. The competitive one sees the world like there's only one pie, and to get a bigger slice, you have to take it from someone else. But the creative mind, it says, hey, the universe has an infinite supply of pie ingredients. You can just bake a whole new pie from that formless substance without taking anything from anybody.
Ultimately, the whole point is to become what he calls an advancing person. You become this hub of creation and growth. And people feel that. They're drawn to you because just by being around you, they get a sense of increase and possibility in their own lives.
So in the end, the science of getting rich really just leaves us with this one massive question to think about. Is wealth a battle over a limited supply of stuff, or is it something you create from an unlimited source? It's a pretty wild idea from over 100 years ago that really makes you wonder. Maybe the only thing that's truly limited is our own way of thinking.